Hello there and welcome to the series of videos going through the content of A-Level Further Maths. Here we're looking at the second part of the exercise 9a video, how we're going to write the vector equation in Cartesian form this time. So the r equals a plus lambda b vector can also be written in a slightly different way that's called the Cartesian form. So we're going to have a look at what that means, what it looks like, and how we can convert from one style of writing the equation to the other style of writing the equation. So, with respect to a fixed point O, the line L is given by the equation of r equals, and in general it goes a1, a2, a3. This vector at the front here is always your starting position, plus lambda lots of b1, b2, b3. This vector here is always your direction vector. So A is starting point, B is direction vector. Prove that the Cartesian form of an equation L can be written like this. So let's go ahead. I don't want you to look too carefully at this for now. I'm going to show you how it's created first. So in general, the general point on a line can be written algebraically from the equation given in vector form. So this vector r here can be replaced by an x, y, z coordinate, where the x, y, and the z coordinate is some coordinate that's along that line L. So x, y, z is a coordinate on the line, and we can write this as a1 plus lambda b1, a2 plus lambda b2, and a3 plus lambda b3 if we combine this these two vectors here into one big vector here. Okay, so x, y, z is a coordinate on the line, and it can be calculated by these three calculations here, and as lambda changes, this coordinate will also change. So what we can do is we can write out three equations, then x equals a1 plus lambda b1, and we can rearrange it, taking a1 onto the other side and dividing by b1, so x equals x minus a1 over b1 is our value for lambda. And we can also do the same thing for y and for z as well. So lambda is equal to x minus a1 over b1, lambda is also equal to y minus a2 over b2, and z minus a3 over b3 is also a plausible value for lambda. So what we can do then is, if all three of these things here are equal to lambda, then they must also equal each other as well. So we can rearrange this into an equation with two equal signs in the middle, which is pretty strange, but that's fine, where all of these lambda values are set equal to each other. So x minus a1 over b1 equals y minus a2 over b2 equals z minus a3 over b3. So this line here can also be written like this. So there are two different ways that you can write the equation of a vector line in 3 dimensions. And these two here that are in the red boxes can quickly convert from one to the other. Now you also see here that no matter what you're adding or subtracting on the top of your fraction here, that's what's going to go in your position vector column, and whatever is on the bottom of your fractions, that's what's going to go in the b1, b2 and b3 positions. So it's quite easy to convert between the two as long as you remember the rule, and if it's on the top, then it's the position vector, it's on the bottom, it's the direction vector. So find a Cartesian equation of the line with equation 4, 3, minus 2 plus lambda lots of minus 1, 2, 5. Well, it's really quick and easy to do. All you need to do is just substitute it into the formula. You don't need to go through that whole process of setting lambda equal to it each time. It's just a simple case of looking up and maybe reminding yourself of what the formula looks like in the formula booklet, and then just writing in the numbers. So sub in your numbers. 4, 3, minus 2 are going to go on the tops, where the a1, a2 and a3 are going to look like. Now, just highlighting here the minus 2, if we've got negative minus 2, then that's going to become a plus 2 here. So if you've got a plus on the top, that's because there is a negative starting coordinate down here. And on the bottom of the fractions, we're going to write all of the values that corresponded to our direction vectors. So minus 1, 2, 5 are going to appear on the bottom of your fractions, and it doesn't take any more than that. Leave the minus 1 on the bottom of your fraction alone. Don't try and simplify anything on the top. Just leave it like that. So it's all you have to do to convert an equation in vector form to Cartesian form. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is a slightly different problem-solving type question that can be asked in exercise 9a. So we'll go through this big example here. The line L has an equation r equals minus 2, 1, 4 plus lambda lots of 1 minus 2, 1. Completely separate to this line, the point P has the coordinate 2, 1, 3. And part A is show that P does not lie on the line L. So what we can do then is to show that it doesn't lie on the line L is we can propose a value for lambda using the x coordinate and then see if it gives us 1 for the y coordinate and see if it gives us 3 for the z coordinate. So looking at the x coordinates and making an equation out of this, minus 2 plus 1 lambda should equal 2. So what does lambda need to equal? Lambda needs to equal 4. So when lambda equals 4, the x coordinates are going to be the same on both of these vector line and coordinate. But let's see if that's the case on the y coordinate as well. So 1 minus 2 lambda equals 1. Rearrange to make lambda the subject, and all of a sudden now lambda needs to equal 0. So therefore, when lambda is 4, the x values line up, but when lambda is 0, the y values line up. So that means that not at the same value of lambda will both of the x and the y coordinates line up. Okay, if this value here on the 0 was a 4 as well, we'd have to go then and test the z coordinate to see if lambda was 4 then, and if lambda was 4 in all different positions here, then we would say, yeah, P is on this line here, but in this case here it is not. Different values of lambda mean that it's not on the line L. Okay, part B in this question now is, given that a circle at centre P intersects the line L at the points A and B, and we know one of the coordinates that it will intersect at A, which is 0, minus 3, 6, find the second coordinate that the line will intersect through. So what we need is a circle at a centre of P. So the first thing I would do is draw in a circle with a centre of 2, 1, 3. And we're told that this line will intersect this circle at two positions, A and B. And we're told the first of those positions is 0, minus 3, 6. And the question is to work out what this other coordinate is. Okay. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have a look at this this line equation here, minus 2, 1, 4, and lambda lots of 1, minus 2, 1. I'm going to rewrite this as the x, y, z coordinate of minus 2 plus lambda, 1 minus 2 lambda, and 4 plus lambda. So now this coordinate up here effectively is this coordinate here, but we just don't know what the value of lambda is going to be for this coordinate here. So that's what we're going to have to look at finding out. Okay, so we've got three equations here. X is equal to minus 2 plus lambda, y is equal to 1 minus 2 lambda, and z is equal to 4 plus lambda. Okay, so since the distance PA must equal the distance PB, so this distance here must equal this distance here, this is another way of writing the equation x, y, and z. So those two lines there must be an equal distance. A little bit of Pythagoras theorem to work out the distance from this coordinate here to this coordinate here. So square root of the difference is squared. So the difference between 2 and 0 is 2, so that would be 2 squared. The difference between 1 and minus 3, that would be 4 squared. And the difference between 3 and 6, that's going to be 3. So that's going to be 3 squared. And that will help us work out this distance from here to here. And that distance is root 29. So that distance there is root 29. So therefore this is from here to here must also be root 29. And now doing exactly the same thing with this coordinate b here and this coordinate p here, using the x, y, z coordinates of lambda in this expression here. So how do we get from p to b? Well, in this case here, the length of this line here is going to be root 29. So to get from p to b, it's going to be x minus 2. Because remember, the way that we work out how to get from p to b is by doing coordinate b minus coordinate p. So we're doing b take away p, that's x minus 2. Good, so that's x minus 2, and then we need to square it because we're doing a bit of Pythagoras theorem on this. How do we then get from p to b on the y coordinate? Well, it's y minus 1. So we're going to square that. And then it's plus z minus 3, all squared. And then we're going to square root it all because we're effectively working out a Pythagoras distance from p to b. Now what we're going to write instead of x minus 2 is the lambda version of x. Now the lambda version of x here is minus 2 plus lambda. So we're going to rewrite all the x, y's and z's with their lambda values. So the x is going to be that one, the y is going to be that one, and the z is going to be that one. So now what we've got is a quadratic equation with lambda in there. So lambda is now the thing that we need to work out. So expand your brackets, and you'll get two values for lambda. One where lambda is minus 1, and one where lambda is 2. So now let's plug lambda back into the coordinate x, y, z, or effectively the line equation up here. So plugging in lambda equals minus 1, we get the coordinate minus 3, 3, 3. So that must be the coordinate for b then. If we were to plug in the coordinate of lambda equals 2, we would get out the coordinate of 0, minus 3, 6. Okay, so what we effectively did in that question was we used this line to make a coordinate that was this coordinate here, 1 minus 2 lambda and 4 plus lambda. So we effectively made a coordinate out of a line by combining the two vectors together and putting a lambda in front of the direction vector. This then was what we used as this coordinate here, and then we just worked out the distance between b and p using p take away b, or in fact I think we used b take away p. We worked out a Pythagoras distance, and we knew that that distance needed to be root 29. So quite a difficult question. That feel free to rewind that video and see if it makes sense. As always, find your teacher if you need any help with any of these videos here. Okay then, so your turn to have a go at a couple of questions here then. So pause the video and try these two out. Okay, so question 4b is to find the Cartesian equation of a line that passes through these two coordinates. So previously we've seen how we find the equation of a line that goes through two coordinates in vector form. So what I think we'll probably do is just find the equation that goes through these two lines in vector form and then convert the vector form into Cartesian form. Now, the way that we find the equation of the line that will pass through these two coordinates in vector form is to first off start at one of the coordinates, and then the second vector is made up of how we get from that coordinate to the other coordinate. So looking at the x values here, it looks like I need to go up 10, so 10 is the first value. I need to go down 3 to get from 5 to 2, and I need to go up 2 to get from 0 to 2. So that's the vector equation of this line, and now all you need to now do is remember the rule from the formula booklet of how you convert from one type of equation to the other. And this first vector here is all the A letters, and this second vector here is all of the B letters. So in this case, the Cartesian form of this line is going to be x minus minus 3, so we'll make that x plus 3, over the B value, which is 10 for the x-axis. Go down one row to get the y1, so y minus 5 over minus 3. Leave it as minus 3 on the bottom, don't worry about simplifying. And on the bottom row for the z1, it's going to be z take away 0, so just z divided by the b value on the z axis, which is 2. So we get z over 2. So that's the answer to question 4b. Then let's have now a look at question 8a. Show that these 3 points are collinear. Now what collinear means is that if we were to draw a line, all 3 of these points here would lie on the same straight line. So what I think we'll do is we will form an equation that links A and B together, and then see if we get the same lambda value when we plug in the coordinate C. So working out A to B first. Okay, so how do we get from A to B? Well, we need to start at A, so minus 3, minus 4, 5, and then we need to now get to B. So x is on the A coordinate minus 3, and we need to get up to 3, so we need to add 6 onto the x coordinate. We need to add 3 onto the y coordinate to get it from minus 4 up to minus 1, and then we need to take away 3 to get from 5 to 2. Let's now see if we get the same lambda value out when we plug in 9, 2, minus 1 into this equation here. So if we do get the same lambda value, then that's great, because that will mean that the point C lies on the line from A to B. If we don't get the same value for lambda on any of the 3 equations I'm about to make, then it means they're not collinear. Now the first equation I'm going to make is from the x numbers, so that's all of the top row numbers that I'm going to work with here. So 9 equals minus 3 plus 6 lambda. Now what does lambda need to equal in this case here? Well, if I add 3 onto the other side and divide by 6, I get lambda equals 2. An equation for the y variable here is going to be 2 equals minus 4 plus 3 lambda. And if I add 4 onto the other side and divide by 3, I'm going to get lambda equals 2. That's great so far. What we now need is for the last one to equal 2 as well. So minus 1 equals 5 minus 3 lambda. Well, in this case here, if I take away 5 from the other side and divide by minus 3, minus 6 divided by minus 3 gives me lambda equals 2. Fantastic. So when lambda equals 2, R is at position C, which is at 9, 2, minus 1. So therefore, collinear. Okay, so these 3 points here do lie on the same straight line, or in other words, they are collinear. Okay, so we've covered everything now from exercise 9a, so do feel free to have a go through that exercise, do practice lots of the questions, do get used to it because it's going to get much harder later on in this chapter. Vectors is one of the most tricky subjects in further maths, so do have lots of practice on exercise 9a because you need to be confident at it moving into planes and all sorts of other good stuff later on. Right, thanks very much for watching.